Okay. ICE in St. Paul arrested a criminal illegal alien who had been convicted for possession of child pornography on a work computer. Do you still stand by your statement that ICE agents are the modern-day Gestapo? That young man would be here today? Well, let me ask you this. Why did your state issue say that you are welcome with open arms in reference to illegal aliens? That was a direct quote attributed to you, ma'am.
It's a 400-year history we have in the state of New York of welcoming all. I don't know why we would change that now.
Okay, Governor Pritzker, you mentioned in your opening statement that criminals have no place in our country, but Cook County released numerous criminal migrants last year, including one that was charged with raping a minor.
First of all, we don't need to release somebody if ICE or another law enforcement authority shows up with a judicial warrant.
Immigration has always been a defining part of America's story, but illegal immigration remains one of the country's most heated debates. At the heart of the issue is a tough question: how do we balance compassion for people seeking a better life with the need to enforce our nation's laws and protect public safety? This discussion becomes even more emotional when crimes are committed by undocumented immigrants.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Walz, you said that as long as you are governor, immigrants will be welcome in Minnesota. Do you find a difference between an immigrant and an illegal immigrant?
A difference, their status?
Is there a difference? Legal status or otherwise?
Well, the legal status is different, but in Minnesota we have a long tradition of welcoming.
Okay. ICE in St. Paul arrested a criminal illegal alien who had been convicted for possession of child pornography on a work computer. Do you still stand by your statement that ICE agents are the modern-day Gestapo?
ICE agents need to do a job, but they need to do it within the realm of due process and the law, wearing masks, no notice of who they are, no notice of the vans, and picking people up off the streets without that due process. I stand that is wrong and a road towards authoritarianism. I certainly stand by that.
You know, I have one rule. I have a couple rules in my office, but one of them is never compare anything dealing with the Holocaust except for the Holocaust. I think that it desensitizes people about what really went on in Nazi Germany by making any comparisons there. Does Minnesota receive federal tax dollars for any programs that assist illegal immigrants?
Minnesota's federal tax dollars are appropriated by you in Congress, and then we use state dollars under our laws.
During the Biden administration, nearly $1.5 billion was sent to sanctuary states to pay for their illegal immigration policies, housing, health care. Governor Hochul, are crimes committed by illegal aliens preventable, in your opinion?
Our law enforcement is highly trained in how to identify prospective perpetrators, but certainly we try to prevent crimes, and we also work to resolve them and make sure that if there's a crime committed, that people find their time in court and are incarcerated. That's how it's always worked.
By definition, illegal aliens are unlawfully present in the United States. They should not be here in the first place to commit crimes. Don't you agree with that?
It depends on the circumstances of coming over. I mean, there's civil violations, there's also criminals. So it's the federal government's determination on the status of an individual. But
I mean, if they're not here, the crime's not going to be committed.
I think if there was not,
if they're not going to be here, ma'am, the crime is not going to be committed.
If there was no one in our country, no crimes would be committed. I suppose you could say the same thing.
A young man in my district whose family is very close to me lost their son to an illegal alien, and I can guarantee you if that illegal alien, if we'd followed the laws of the land and there'd been some enforcement, that young man would be here today. Well, let me ask you this. Why did your state issue say that you are welcome with open arms in reference to illegal aliens? That was a direct quote attributed to you, ma'am.
It's a 400-year history we have in the state of New York of welcoming all. I don't know why we would change that now.
Okay, Governor Pritzker, you mentioned in your opening statement that criminals have no place in our country, but Cook County released numerous criminal migrants last year, including one that was charged with raping a minor. Why would you release a criminal rapist back into your community?
Thank you, Congressman. First of all, we don't need to release somebody if ICE or another law enforcement authority shows up with a judicial warrant. Then that's just the fact. And if somebody gets released, it's usually because they've had due process and determined not to be eligible to be held. That's
Okay, but do you know what happened after that individual was released?
I don't, but again, a judicial warrant, if appropriate.
I'll tell you, 17 days later, he was charged with a homicide. And in Cook County, he also released a migrant charged with domestic violence in August of 2024. You know what this individual was charged with 1 month later?
No, sir, I'm not sure what.
Aggravated criminal sexual assault and abuse of minor.
For many Americans, those crimes feel preventable. They argue that if someone is here illegally, they shouldn't have been in a position to commit the crime in the first place. Others push back, saying that immigrants, documented or not, deserve due process and should not be blamed for the actions of a few. The debate highlights a congressional hearing where state governors from places like Minnesota, New York, and Illinois were questioned about their immigration policies. Governors defended their state traditions of welcoming immigrants, even undocumented ones, arguing that law enforcement already works to catch criminals regardless of status. On the other side, members of Congress demanded answers about why some states release undocumented immigrants charged with serious crimes, and why taxpayer money is being used to provide health care, education, and other benefits to them. This debate represents a larger national divide. Should America prioritize strict immigration enforcement, or should it continue its long tradition of offering refuge to those seeking better opportunities, even if their first step into the country wasn't legal? Both sides claim to want safe communities and fair treatment, but how to achieve that balance is what divides them.
And as governor, have you done anything to ensure local and county governments aren't releasing illegal immigrants charged with sexual or violent crimes?
As a matter of fact, first of all, we chase down criminals every single day. We put them in jail. We try them, put them through due process. They get convicted. They get put into our correction system. We do that every single day. You're implying that we're not? We are. In fact, our law enforcement are some of the best in the country. They do their job.
Well, if these laws were enforced, then I would assume these people wouldn't be back out on the streets so freely. How many programs does Illinois have that explicitly supports illegal immigrants?
So we've created programs to deal with not illegal. I mean, we have one program that's related to undocumented people who are.
I'm out of time.
They're
but
the most vulnerable.
The answer is at least four. Health benefits for immigrants, HBIS, health benefits for immigrants, adults, HBI, Retention of Illinois Students, and Equity RISE is the acronym for that act, in the Illinois Dream Fund. And I'm sorry, I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Chair, that's Mr. Min.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to finish the title of the article that I was trying to read into unanimous consent.
Okay.